if you're afraid you're going to max that credit card out, put it in a jar of water and put it in the freezer. or don't use that card. Have the card because you need utilization percentage to maximize 30% of the credit score. But don't you max that card out. That's almost worse than you not even having it.
It's survival mode. What you doing? Welcome to another edition of Survival Mode. What you doing? Hi, I'm Bert Robinson.
I'm Kevin Beers.
And today we are going to have a real good time today. Hey, Kevin, how you been?
I've been great.
Are you staying out of trouble for real?
Define trouble.
Okay, all right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, no, he's not staying out of trouble. But we're going to keep him in check. We have a special guest, another guest today. It is Robert Linkonis, ladies and gentlemen, from Credit Repair. Oh, he is in the house. I'm telling you, Robert, welcome. Thank you for coming on board.
Thanks for having me, Bert. Very much so. Thanks, guys.
No problem whatsoever. Robert, normally I do an introduction, but you do it so well. Robert, tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Well, I've been fixing credit reports for close to 30 years, the majority of my adult life. I'm very, very, very good at it. Every nuance, every dynamic of a credit report, we're going to figure out how to get everything straightened out. Originally, when I started in credit repair, TRW was in existence, and that was before TRW became Experian back in 1993. And TRW used a new technology called the fax machine to deliver a credit report. So a merchant can see the creditworthiness of the individual instantly. It was instant gratification. Okay, we can give this person the financing. They can take the vehicle. They can take the furniture or whatever they were trying to purchase. It was a new technology, and it just ballooned out.
Look, we see your background out there. You're just having a real good time out there. We love your background, and that's not a fake background, mind you.
Right. I was going to say, Robert, are you sitting in a hammock?
No, that's actually my water view. that's my koi pond. That's to stop hawks and owls from eating my fish.
Okay, because it seems like you're rocking back and forth there. I thought maybe you were sitting in a hammock.
Actually, I am rocking back and forth.
Okay, all right. Well, what we want to do is we want to let everybody know you're located in South Richmond and off of Midlothian Turnpike, correct?
That's correct. Our address is 31 North Providence Road, North Chesterfield, right off of Midlothian Turnpike in Providence Road. We've been in that building almost 9 years, and that's where the magic happens, guys. Okay,
and with that magic, you don't have to be in Richmond for anybody to get your help. Am I correct?
Oh, no, we're a 501c nonprofit. We're in all 50 states.
See, now that's the thing that I like about it. And the things that you do and helping people, and you take the fear out of credit repair, don't you?
Yeah, because there's no magic wand to make anything that's true. Well, anything that's truly 100% accurate, it is what it is. There's no magic wand to make it go away. But there is a huge legal difference between 99% accurate and 100% accurate. And that's the bottom line. Our attorney, Jason Crumbine and I have been together for, probably close to 10 years now. And I'm the FICO expert. He's the attorney. And he's a Fair Credit Reporting Act and a Fair Debt Collection Practices Act attorney. And he is a hammer. And that's how we fix credit reports. There's no magic wand, but true, complete, and accurate. Anything other than that's illegal. And we will enforce the customer's rights under the law and try and recover damages for the customer, in addition to getting justice, getting the credit reports fixed, inaccurate information removed. It's actually it's extremely exciting. I love what I do. I can't see myself doing anything else.
Okay. All right. Well, Kevin, now what do you think? I know you have questions. You always have questions.
Sometimes. Well, let's just start right from the beginning. Let's say someone they just went to buy a house and they got told, there's problems with your credit. What happens from that point forward? They walk into your office or set an appointment, whatever. And then where do we go?
The first thing we do is we need to look at credit reports, and I prefer what's called a tri-merge credit report. That's an Equifax Experian TransUnion report in side-by-side format, and we have a monitoring service that's compatible with my auditing software and score simulators. Now, if someone got turned down for a mortgage, I need to know very closely what that mortgage company is going to see and be able to tailor a case for what that mortgage company is going to want to see in 30, 60, 90 days, 120 days when we're ready to get that person back to the loan officer. So I have a FICO score simulator that's extremely close to the mortgage industry FICO score. Now, working with me is very similar to a coach or a trainer. We're going to roll the sleeves up. We're going to look at what's on the reports. We do most of the work, but I'm going to need the customer to do some things too. We might need to open up some new credit, manage it responsibly. We might need to settle or negotiate some debts that are legitimate, which is what I was doing a good bit of the day. We're not a debt settlement company. Debt settlement involves creating an escrow account, accruing money while the credit continues to get destroyed due to non-payment while settlements are being worked out. In fact, we have a whole unique spin on debt settlement and debt negotiation and payment management programs, compiling all credit cards into one payment that's comfortable. Which we'll get into details. Being a 501c, the Credit Restoration Institute, our debt management program isn't a escrow, or we don't manage the customer's money. We give the customer a very clear action plan. Customer needs to manage their money. They need, as far as part of being responsible, fiscally responsible. And Bert, that's coming back to you guys. Fiscal responsibility is what you guys preach. And in addition to being able to protect your assets for retirement and being able to, the more we can free up in a customer's budget, the more money they would be able to use to protect their retirement, to be able to protect their assets, to be able to provide a value to their family in case of an unfortunate situation. And we preach the same thing. So whenever what we're telling our customers, it's going to mirror a lot of what you're telling customers as far as fiscal responsibility goes. But we will help the customer work out payments. We don't do the payments. We help the customer do what needs to get done to get that credit report fixed.
Okay, now Robert, let's get into the being fiscally responsible. A lot of people, when they go to someone like yourself, and they're nervous. What am I going to do? Am I going to put all my life on the line, or I'm going to put all my information out there? They're scared.
Yeah.
A lot of people are scared. What do you tell that person that's scared about fixing their credit?
Everything's temporary. Anything that we see on that credit report is temporary. In fact, good credit is temporary. Good credit can change at the snap of a finger. You never know. Good credit can change unbeknownst to the customer. If a customer doesn't have proper credit monitoring to where they're watching their credit to see if someone's taken out accounts in their name or identity theft, which is another possibility. We're a vendor for several larger credit monitoring companies. We actually do the identity theft fixing. When you're hearing the $1 million policy behind the identity theft, we're the ones who actually does the work fixing the identity theft. Okay. So everything's temporary, and if they're with our program, they're with the best in the business. And define best in the business and compare it to the second, third, and fourth, and fifth best in the business, which I've been asked that question. Regulators ask that question. The Better Business Bureau asked that question. We have an A+ with the BBB, and I earned that A+ for over years. I think since 2012, 2013, we've been an accredited business, and we're going to get the customer. We're going to get the customer straight. We make them feel very welcome at home. We make them feel that they're in the right hands. We actually do the work for them. We keep them constantly updated on what's going on with their case. They get text messages every time their scores increase. When we refresh their credit monitoring, they get text messages of their new scores and a full audit, analysis, and action plan of the previous and exactly what we're doing in the next step moving forward. We never had this technology before either. Everything used to be done by hand. Back when we started in 2008, it was all by hand. We were using the free annual credit reports, no scores. It was pretty, the school barefoot uphill both ways type story. Is kind of how it is.
No,
how
you
it
didn't
was.
go there. No, you went
yeah,
there. Yeah.
uphill both ways, barefoot.
Oh,
hey,
my.
from a TRW faxed in credit report to the systems we've got now, it's literally night and day. It's so awesome right now. I mean, it's a good time to be in credit repair because we can absolutely just hit the gas and get somebody's case fixed as fast as possible. I mean, it's exciting.
Okay, well, I started my question assuming someone walked in looking for a mortgage, and that's when they found out that their credit report had problems. What can someone do prior to trying to make a purchase like that, so that they're aware where things are and what do we do? If we find a problem.
You're talking about planning, aren't you?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the big P word, planning. Wow. Okay.
I'm kind of smart.
You know what? I like that. What about that, Robert? I love the question.
I do too. It's one of the best things to do is to literally plan. When someone is at the mental and the maturity of being ready to become a homeowner, they're not to live for today. They're not the apartment. They want to get out of the apartment or get out of the rental house. They want to actually own it. They see the $1,500 as an example per month of what they're paying rent could be a very mortgage payment on a very nice house. Mm-hmm. And they hear about it. But it takes it's a fearful to, I remember buying my first house. It was a long time back. I remember fear of the unknown covers any vertical. Fear of the unknown. So how do you overcome fear of the unknown is you gain knowledge. Knowledge is power. So the first thing is my company, Credit Restoration Institute, we're affiliated with Virginia Housing. That used to be named VHDA. They rebranded as Virginia Housing. And go take a home buyer's course. Virginia Housing's home buyer's course is free. You can do it online now because of COVID. Just Google Virginia Housing home buyer's course. You can register. And upon completion, you qualify for Virginia Housing's down payment assistance. Now, upon completion, it's a 4-hour class. And going through that, they're going to give you money by doing it. And it's all grant money. The mission of HUD, the Department of Housing and Urban Development, is ending chronic homelessness. So getting somebody into a house is a big deal. And HUD looks at my company as a very, very valuable niche in solving that mission. So knowledge is power. Knowing what goes into the home buying process. The home buyer's course deals with a lot of budgeting. Where are the credit piece? We go into details about credit. You got to know your score. You've got to how to fix inaccuracies on the reports. I don't care if someone fixes attempts to dispute inaccuracies on the report, provided they do it the way we show them how to do it. Because in a short period of time, anybody can do the basic disputes, provided they're done correctly. Now, most people just go on the bureaus and click not mine, which is, you can't ever, it is theirs. Unless it's truly not theirs, which is identity theft. You don't just go in, okay, all that bad stuff, yeah, that's a bad dream, so I'm just going to say none of that was mine. Well, it was yours. All of that, regardless of the situation. And we don't judge anybody because life happens to everyone. And when life happens, we figure out how to deal with it. A mess can always be cleaned up. And that's how we look at it. We don't judge. We treat everyone with professionalism, with respect, with dignity, we try to lessen the fear of the unknown, build the confidence that they can achieve, because home ownership is the biggest purchase anyone can ever make. You're building equity. When you pay off a house and retire, you have a paid off house. You've earned your retirement by building equity in that piece of real estate. Everybody wants that. It's the American dream. So the first thing to do is to study all you can about home ownership. What do you have to save as a down payment? What are the different types of loan products out there, which would involve talking to some mortgage people, which would involve talking to a real estate agent or two. And there's nothing wrong with real estate agents, and I wasn't implying anything by that statement. A real estate agent wants to sell a house. There's nothing wrong with that. And we're all on commission basically anyway, because we're selling ourselves constantly, and we receive the fruit of our salesmanship. Although I don't sell anything, I'm not a salesman at all, but I can convince somebody that being in my program is the right program to be in, which in a sense is salesmanship. I'm extremely confident that mine is the best program. And so I invite everybody who's listening, if you choose to give a call up, and there's no charge to sit down and look at everything, and we'll show you how to get everything straightened out. And if you need us, well, our fees aren't expensive anyway. We're 501c. We can't charge excessive fees at all just because we're capped.
That's, and that's the nice thing about that. You're nonprofit, and you want to help people. Now,
that's right.
I'm about to give you a plug. The #1 credit repair service in Virginia.
Before we became a nonprofit, I built my for-profit since 2008 all the way up to 2019. We were the largest credit repair company in Virginia by size and volume, whose headquarters was in the state of Virginia.
Okay.
And then I sold that company in 2019 to a large publicly traded company who really wanted a credit repair call center. They didn't want CRA, my company, as much as they wanted me to build their call center. So that's and actually it turned out it was a little bit of a up and down, but it solved some financial issues, and it was nice. And a lot of the people that were with me building the for-profit had good big corporate jobs, and then essentially, I had already had the 501c3 created. We had already gotten approval from the IRS to become a tax-exempt 501c3. That was already on the shelf. That was my plan anyway. And that was that's actually a long story too.
Well, we won't go into the long story. Your dream is to continue to help people.
And that's why I'm now full bore into this. We're going to end up being the largest credit repair nonprofit in the country.
Okay, I actually wanted to go backwards a little bit when you said about life happens, and the fear of the unknown. I want to go there because I see that in my own business. I'm working in financial services, and the way our approach is more holistic. Let's look at your entire financial situation.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are just afraid to admit the mistakes they made or the situation they ended up in. And honestly, I assure all my clients, you've done nothing. There isn't anything you could have done that I didn't do myself, because I didn't always know this stuff. I know this stuff because that's what I do now. But I was a software engineer. I made a lot of money. Did really well. Then I got laid off. But I had been living paycheck to paycheck because I didn't know how money worked. So I wasn't doing the right things. Well, I got laid off. I was out of work for a year and a half. That going from a six-figure job to what max they pay out is like $20,000 a year. That barely covered my mortgage.
Indeed.
And I still had to pay for all this other stuff. Ended up defaulting on credit card. Worked out some kind of a payment for another credit card. I can just go down the list. There were tax implications involved. There were so many things, and I kept getting deeper and deeper into trouble because I was afraid
to talk to somebody. To admit what I've done, and the thing was, getting laid off wasn't even my fault. And it was a circumstance. I.e., the pandemic that we were going through at this particular time. People with good credit, just like you said, Robert, something can happen and change it in an instant.
Yes, because I had whatever the max score is, or at least really close to it. And then within just a few months, really, I was down in the 500s or something like that. It didn't take long. It just took a nosedive, only because I didn't have money to pay the bills, and it got reported really quickly that.
They didn't like you.
No, but they like me now. That everything, everything's repaired, and I'm back on track, and working again, and all those kinds of things. People, and like you said, it's temporary. It's hard to work through, yep. But again, knowing, or at least just talking to somebody who can help them, at least getting perspective, if nothing else, just so that fear goes away. So you're now prepared to do something about it. And actually, when you and I, when we all sat down and talked, that's one thing I was picking up was you're like in the same boat with us. Mm-hmm. You just got to talk to somebody who's got the knowledge, and from there you can go places.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
So now you said something that was very interesting to me, that you want to be the largest in the nation. Mm-hmm. Okay. Being the largest in the nation, that doesn't take away from your individual, being able to help somebody individually. Is that true?
No, not at all. We're always going to, like a coach or a trainer, help somebody through the minefield, so to speak. But no, our systems, and this is back to the long story I mentioned as far as the credit restorations, the score, the systems, the process. We've essentially redefined credit repair. And in the nonprofit space, credit repair is, everyone has heard of the stigma of credit repair. Anyone can overpromise. Anyone can sell a dream. We'll get everything fixed. We'll make all that bad stuff go away. Any mess can be cleaned up. We're the one to do it. Give me X number of dollars and we'll take care of it. And then they didn't fulfill, or they overpromised and didn't deliver at all, or underdelivered. Same with any industry. You let a hurricane come through the neighborhood, knock on the door. Yeah, I'll get that tree off your house. I need $1,000. And then that person's gone. Or anything, any disaster relief has all kinds of issues. Credit repair is a disaster relief, so to speak, but it's also an intervention if used clinically. What that means is a customer, well, not a customer, an individual who has financial issues also has the components of stress. They have anxiety. They have depression. They have could possibly thoughts of suicide because of their situation. The credit restoration process is an intervention to relieve those symptoms, to put somebody from being in a disadvantaged condition to an advantaged condition, thereby improving their biopsychosocial characteristics and improving the quality of life. I mean, this system can be put into every nonprofit who does any consumer credit counseling type work. And our process would sit on top of the consumer credit counseling industry. And there's an army of consumer credit counselors. We don't do consumer credit counseling. We'll do basic budget management because we need to help a customer, because that's part of daily living. But consumer credit counseling, we partner with counselors. We're not a consumer credit counselor. So our system is going to sit on top of the consumer credit counseling process and actually finish the job. And what that means is you can be consumer credit counseled so you can write a book, but you're not going to get a house with a 400 credit score. That's bottom line.
Oh,
and so
you just hurt somebody out there. You know that, right?
But that's the truth. You can consumer credit counsel somebody until, but then but the score is still a disaster. They're not going to get a house, regardless of the amount of counseling.
And you know what? And I'm glad you said it that way. And you are client oriented and you're an educated oriented. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Exactly right.
And that's what I wanted to get people, to hear from you, sir. I really liked how you handled yourself. And he was, I loved him on the radio show, listening to him on the radio show. It was great. It was great. So,
good show.
Well, thank you. Good guest. So, the things that you're doing, you're going out, you can help everybody. Robert, tell us again how they can reach you.
Definitely by calling the office. Our office hours are basically business hours, 9 to 5. The phone number is 804-823-9601. Or if you want to toll free, obviously 800-648-5157 is our toll free number. Anyone can go onto the website, www.creditrestorationinstitute.com, creditrestorationinstitute.com, and go in and request a free consultation there. But call the office, contact us, and let's set something up. We will get you from where you are to where you want to be. Let's talk.
And that's the nice thing about it. He said the 4-letter word, free consultation. Okay.
Yeah, there's no charge to talk.
Exactly. Okay, think about that. We talk about planning. If you want that house, if you want a lot of things that you've always wanted, credit in our country is so important to have. It is very important to have. Okay, that will make you or break you in terms of your interest rates. Okay, do you want to pay 13% interest, or do you want to pay 2% interest? Which one? Tell me. Because that's a double-edged sword. Right. The compound interest.
Right. And refer to a previous show to see what that's all about. Just saying.
Oh, you're just saying? Okay, so we talked about that. Okay.
Yes, we did.
Okay, and we talked about housing, real estate, all those things just go into play, and you're the man to talk to fix all that stuff.
We're the credit piece.
You're the credit.
Anything you guys need to know. No, Bert and Kevin, you guys are insurance. You're financial wizards in many, many, many ways. And again, being a financial wizard is incredible, but you also need good credit to take advantage of opportunities. Benjamin Franklin said, "Credit is money," and without having credit,
he went Benjamin Franklin. No, he didn't.
Credit is money. By having good credit, you can take advantage of twice the opportunities, and so. Now, Dave Ramsey does a lot of good. You don't go into debt, don't go into a lot of different things. And I love Dave Ramsey's program, but good credit used wisely, in my opinion, is one of the best moves anybody can make. And that's used wisely, meaning don't use it. If you're afraid you're going to max that credit card out, put it in a jar of water and put it in the freezer. or don't use that card. Have the card because you need utilization percentage to maximize 30% of the credit score. But don't you max that card out. That's almost worse than you not even having it. And we tell it just like that to the customers. You need to get it to use it as a tool, to use it wisely, to manage properly. The FICO score rewards discipline. It rewards good payment history, good usage of your available credit, low usage of your available credit. All the FICO score is these statistical odds of you going up to 90 days late on one or all of your accounts within the next 24 months. That's what a score is. It's not. Now, a higher score, yes, is a good predictor that a loan or consideration will be repaid properly, and a lower score that, it's not a good credit risk. But that score itself is only the statistical odds of you going up to 90 days late on one or more of all of your accounts on your credit report within the next 24 months. That's what the score is.
Okay.
And proper management and understanding of the score is what everybody needs a foundation in to have a successful life.
Okay. I want to throw this in there real quick. If you could just give a little explanation on how medical debt plays in. That especially with COVID just coming by, there's going to be a lot of medical debt. I can see that coming. How does that? Is that as big of a factor in credit scores as like loans, or how does that actually play in?
The question has a lot of answers. Broad brush, all versions of the FICO score look at medical debt as not as severe a negative weight, such as if it were a charged off credit card or a defaulted installment loan that just hit, or even, well, that's actually another whole topic of a webinar. I want to go into the deep dives of the entire scoring algorithm, and we'll get into that. There's too many. I don't want to say anything wrong, and it takes more. I need more time to properly answer that. But medical,
that's fine.
Medical doesn't hurt it as bad. Most medical debt will be removed from the credit bureaus by the collection agency if the debt is paid or dealt with, which is a nice thing. It's easier to get off a credit report, and I'm knock on. I don't have any wood to knock on, but nothing's easy. If I imply something's easy, that thing doesn't come off. I mean, that's Murphy's law. But I mean, it's credit repair is an art, not a science, in many senses of that word.
So let me interject something before we leave, because I know your time is valuable and we really do appreciate it. When you talk to a client, you give them the understanding of the credit utilization. Of all the things that goes into the different parts of the credit report. Part of the initial
consult is going through the anatomy of the credit score before we even look at the report. Okay. And we go into details of what the different components of the score are. And then we reference that as we actually go through their reports line by line with them. That's part of our initial consult.
Oh, well, you know what? That's fascinating. And, it's a wonderful thing that you're doing this. And we really want everyone to know, don't be afraid. Call Robert. Okay, don't be afraid. Pick up the phone and call Robert. What's the phone number again?
804-823-9601.
All right.
If you reach the office after hours, leave a message.
Okay. And trust me, everybody, he does call you back. He does return emails. I find that refreshing that, when we're doing business, Robert, that, we are back and forth. There's communication. And that is the other key to it, because if we communicate with each other, things work a lot better. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. Oh, I didn't know you were looking at me.
I'm looking at everybody. I'm looking Robert. I'm looking at you. I'm looking at everybody. We need to communicate, because credit repair, you communicate, you get rid of the fear, you have the knowledge. Guess what? That house that you've always wanted is even closer. Mm-hmm. Okay? Inch by inch by inch by inch to get to your success. Well, that's all I want. I'm so wordy sometimes. I'm going to be quiet.
Okay. Well, to get a hold of us.
Oh, us.
Our email address is survivalmodewd@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on YouTube.
Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to Survival Mode, What You Doing, okay, and hit the, what button is that again? The bell?
The bell.
Hit the bell.
Notification bell.
Notification bell, okay, doing that. Once again, Robert, thank you ever so much for taking your time, after hours, you're enjoying yourself, and that's his pond. It really looks like a hamlet.
Yeah. Well, it stops the owls and predators from eating my koi.
Okay, all right. We appreciate you, hooking up with us after hours, and we really do. Thank you ever so much, Robert. Have a wonderful week, and everybody, don't forget to come back to us. We'll have another show for you next week on Survival Mode. What you doing? Bye bye now. It's Survival Mode. What you doing?